Welcome to Your Victory with Terri Balestrieri, where we do destiny God's way. Be a part of our family and connect with us on social media. Enjoy and be blessed.
Hello, Team Victory, where we are learning that our destiny is to walk in victory every single day, all the time. Okay, 24/7, and we're here to learn how to do that. Yay, I'm so happy. Okay, now what I talked about the last podcast was about having an attitude of gratitude. And I had you write down, that's where I had you write down the things that were working for your life and that you are quite happy with, and also some things that you aren't happy with or aren't working in your life. So today we're going to be talking about going after the things like tackling our negatives and what we're going to do about that. So that's what we're talking about today. Now, just to kind of refresh what I had mentioned as my dislikes about my life right now is, number one, my weight. Number two is the fact that I have to work outside the home to make a living still. And the third thing was that I have a definite propensity towards perfectionism, and sometimes even use that as an excuse to procrastinate. So out of those three, there's more, but we're just going to, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. Just take the top three or something like that, But out of those three, we're going to work with the top one thing that's bothering us. And how we know what that thing is when we wake up. What's there? What's that one negative thing? It keeps biting us. And for me, it's my weight. But I just to admit, I've tried diets. I've tried exercising myself to a frenzy. These are the things I've tried in the past, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate. I've tried pills to help speed up the metabolism. I've tried starving. I even tried, I'll admit to you, I've tried bulimia one time where, you eat a big meal, you eat whatever you want, and then you just go get rid of it. And when I seen how easy that was, it scared me, because I thought, I do have I can get onto something, I can latch onto something and get kind of addicted to something pretty easily. And when I seen how easy that thing was, I thought, oh my gosh, I could never do this again, or I'll be doing this all the time as a form of weight control. Now, losing weight has never been the problem, really. It was keeping it off. I was just telling a friend actually today that I even hate the term losing weight. I'd rather say releasing weight, because then it sounds, I don't know, if you lose something, you're going to find it. I don't want the weight finding me again. But I did find out in the midst of all this stuff that I do have gone so much in my own strength. What I have found for me is that diets don't work. Number one, it feels like a ball and chain wrapped around my foot. I'm thinking about what I'm not supposed to be eating, thinking about what I should be eating. Now I got to go shop and have a special list, cook a certain way. And I mean, wow. I'm not saying that that's not for somebody, but for me, that's not for me. And I want total freedom from the whole food thing. I was once a size 5, and here's another thing I'll admit to you. I was a size 5, 105 pounds, and guess what? I never got to enjoy that, because in my head, I still thought I was fat. Can you believe it? I was so thin that from when I turned when you saw me from the back, I looked like a child. I had lost all my curves, and I still thought I was fat. So I knew that the problem isn't just the weight that I weigh, but something deeper. And until now, having the nerve to come on here and start doing these podcasts that I know that God was calling me to do has given me the courage and the desire and the momentum to say, now it's time to tackle this thing. The first thing was so scary for me to come on here. And so now I'm having the nerve to say, you know what, now let's take a look at this, Lord, you and I together. And a lot of what I know was a problem is that in my life, I faced a lot of trauma as a child, a very traumatic childhood. And I know that trauma definitely has something to do with weight, a form of protection, needing to find a safe place. I don't even know what all the issues are. So that's for the next podcast. We're going to get into that and talk about how do you dig deep with God and find out what are these issues? Why am I still dealing with this negative thing for years now? And there's a certain, like I said, a certain momentum that takes place. And also just having you on, that I'm talking to is giving me strength to go forward and to say, you know what? I'm not in this alone. None of us are in this alone. And I know that I had mentioned before, that I think that was the very first podcast, that's when I said that I have things that you need, but you have things that I need. And one of the things that you have that I need is togetherness, because when two are together, the work is lighter. It just works better. It's, I feel like I have a friend that I'm talking to right now. And it gives me the courage and along with the Lord, knowing that the Lord is going to lead us through, just as something I'm now looking forward to and being very excited about. So I know that keeping grateful is a really, really important thing when you're uncovering your negatives and starting to deal with those. So it's important that we keep writing. What I mentioned in the last podcast was to write that one thing every single day that we're grateful for. Now today, you're going to be in my journal, and I'm going to say, today I am grateful for having people to share my journey with. And that's so important to keep that attitude of gratitude. So what we're going to take away from today, I have here, just to focus on one of the negative things. I know it's a temptation to go ahead and focus on, well, I want all these things changed, and I'm going to work on all this. No, it doesn't work. Focusing on one issue that we want to see flip right over. So one thing, write that down. What is it going to be for you? And I really appreciate it if you would start leaving, comments in that of sharing your journey with me, and let me see what it is you're going to be working on. Remember, we have to keep in mind that the victory has already been won. I just have to learn how to walk in that. It's already been done. The deal is done. I'm so glad that we just have to maintain the victory and we don't have to win it. It's a lot harder to win something than to just have it handed to you and say, okay, here it is. Just maintain what I've given you. And that's what Jesus requires. That's all. So in the next podcast, also, where we're going to be locating God, and I'll just give you a little hint. It's right here in our gut. And we're going to be talking more about that on the next podcast. So how to connect with God. So we can't lose. We just can't lose, with the Lord. And I look forward to sharing this journey out with you. And I will talk with you next time. Have a good evening. Good night.
The first scripture is from Proverbs 3:5 in the Good News Translation. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Never rely on what you think you know. Remember the Lord in everything you do, and He will show you the right way. The second scripture is from Isaiah 45:2 in the Good News Translation. I myself will prepare your way, leveling mountains and hills. I will break down bronze gates and smash their iron bars. I will give you treasures from dark secret places. Then you will know that I am the Lord, and that the God of Israel has called you by name. The second scripture is from James 4:2-3 in the New Living Translation. You want what you don't have, so you scheme and kill to get it. You are jealous of what others have, but you can't get it, so you fight and wage war to take it away from them. Yet you don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it. And even when you ask, you don't get it because your motives are all wrong. You want only what can give you pleasure. Thank you for joining us today. You'll find helpful resources at terribalestrieri.com.